When you play a video game, you expect that doing your best and mastering everything on offer will reward you. However, sometimes trying your hardest doesn't give you anything, aside from people mockingly calling you a tryhard, or, in the case of this list, a game calling you a tryhard. Yep, some titles don't like tryhards as much as your average gamer, and so they decide to make fun of those who put way too much time and effort into absolute completion. I'm Jess from WhatCulture, and here are 10 video games that mock you for trying too hard. Number 10. You need to get out more. Devil May Cry 4. Devil May Cry 4 is one of the hardest entries in the series. It features a wide range of special challenge modes that alter the game's difficulty in every controller-breaking way possible. The hardest of these settings is Heaven or Hell, which lets you kill every enemy and boss in the game in just one hit, but you die in just one hit as well. The mode is the toughest challenge due to how vulnerable you are the entire time. However, if you think you're gonna get praise for beating it, think again. After you put your sweat, tears, and throat-swearing obscenities at every mob that ended your run prematurely, the only thing you'll get for beating Heaven or Hell is a pin-up photo of the game's female cast, with an equally captivating message reading, "You need to get out more." Yep, even the developers think putting so much time into beating every mode in their game is a waste of time. Just to be clear, seeing as Heaven or Hell is unlocked as the last difficulty setting, you really do have to go through everything on offer just to be shamed by the devs, who made it all in the first place. Number 9. Feathers for Enemies, Assassin's Creed 2. Over the years, Assassin's Creed games have been frequently criticized for their blatant use of fetch quests and collectible quests, which don't do anything beyond stretching the game's playtime. However, maybe a pointless scavenger hunt is better than a harmful one, as evidenced by the reward you get in Assassin's Creed 2. In the sequel, one of the collectible items scattered around the map is feathers. There are hundreds of these things, and the game promises that getting them all will unlock some kind of amazing reward. It will take you hours to find and catch every floating feather on the map, with the reward being a unique cape. Sure, it's pretty enough, but it also makes you look immediately suspicious to all guards while equipped, making the game impossible to play. If that's what you wanted, and you enjoyed it, nice one. For anybody else, bit brutal. Number 8. Something different. Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2 for the PlayStation 2 is lauded as having some of the best web-swinging mechanics out of all the Spider-Man games to date. You know what it's definitely not praised for, though? The reward for completing its most unnecessarily complicated and difficult challenge. In Spidey 2, the player receives hints and other useful tutorial information by finding special green markers scattered around the city. One of them will tell you that if you manage to find all of these hints in the game, narrator, the legendary Bruce Campbell, will start saying something different. The promise of more Campbell easily inspires curious players to accept the challenge. And a challenge it is, as there's exactly 213 markers hidden around the map. After you collect them all, you're probably expecting a whole new set of line reads, or maybe Bruce improvising for a while, or something equally as exciting. Instead, in reality, Campbell literally just says, "something different."
Something different.
Like literally just, quotation marks, something different.
Something different.
All that effort for one of the most painful gotchas in gaming history. It is pretty funny though. Number 7. Hestu's Gift. Again, Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. The most infamous achievement in The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is collecting all 900 Korok seeds scattered around the map. The task is a monumental effort, as not only is the number of seeds great, but you also have to look for them in the most obscure places, since the Koroks owning them like to play hide and seek, to put it lightly. However, the difficulty of the scavenger hunt isn't actually what made it notorious within the game's community. It was, as you probably know if you guessed that this one was going to be on the list, the reward you got for collecting all the seeds, the golden pile of poo called Hestu's Gift. But hey, all this is in the past. Right now it's Tears of the Kingdom time, and surely Nintendo wouldn't just pull the same trick twice, right? Well, the hunt for the Korok seeds is back in Tears of the Kingdom with an extra 100 seeds to collect. The number is larger, so some might assume the price for collecting them will be different, not to mention that it might be useful this time. But no! Even after you do the same painfully long chore and then add 100 more seeds, the sequel rewards you with the same old golden pile of poop. It's not even larger, but then again, maybe at least that's a good thing. Number 6. Don't Lick the Door. Saints Row 4, How the Saints Saved Christmas. The Saints Row series is well known for poking fun at pretty much everything, from pop culture references to video game mechanics. Saints Row 4 upholds this tradition of nothing is sacred with its holiday-themed DLC, How the Saints Saved Christmas, which not only laughs at cliché Hallmark movie tropes, but also at the player's own input. When you and your gang arrive at the North Pole, the entrance to Santa's workshop is barricaded by a giant candy cane. The game gives you a choice to either lick the cane until it snaps in two, or try to look for an alternate entrance. Licking the candy cane comes with a special bar that fills up as you click the button to eat your way through the sugary barricade. The bar takes forever to fill, as you can imagine, making it clear that the game wants you to look for another way in. That said, you can still try to lick your way through, but just be prepared to be made fun of for it, as the game will keep showing you messages that call you crazy and telling you to just stop. By the time you finish filling the bar, you'll be completely humiliated with no reward, begging the question, was it really worth it? Number 5. Congratulations, you did it! Not The Evil Within. The Evil Within is a horror game about a group of detectives trying to escape from a nightmarish alternate reality created as part of a mysterious project. The title has managed to release a few DLCs, one of which is Consequence, a retelling of the original story from the perspective of Julie Kidman, the one detective who, unlike the rest of her colleagues, was not trapped within the STEM project for the majority of the game. Towards the end of the DLC, you reach the chamber where the other detectives are being kept, connected to a giant brain responsible for creating the nightmare. Now, you're supposed to look past it and follow the crazed lunatic who led you into the room in the first place, but if you actually took the time to comprehend the overall story, you'd realize that destroying the jar would end the story prematurely. The only problem is that the developers do not appreciate you thinking too hard about it. Shooting the brain will indeed cause the credits to roll, along with a congratulatory message. But after a few seconds, it'll end with a bright flash as the game simply mocks you for trying. Number 4. It's just a big middle finger. Lisa the Painful. Lisa the Painful is an RPG designed solely with the intent of messing with the player. That's why if you fall for its trick with the tall climbing rope, you have no one else but yourself to blame for the humiliation that awaits you on top. One of the strangest and dangerously captivating locations in the game is the incredibly tall rope at the peak of a cliffside. When you get to it, it quickly turns out the rope is not your average climb. It just keeps going, and there seems to be no end, so naturally some players are inclined to find out what exactly is on the other side. The climb takes dedication, so much so that you'll be climbing the rope for minutes without ever seeing the top. Once you do reach the end, the reveal is a middle finger. Literally, at the top of this minutes-long trip is a giant statue of a middle finger. To add insult to injury, getting off the peak is not as easy as jumping because doing so will cause your character to die instantly. And that experience, if you haven't had it yourself, is basically Lisa in a nutshell. Number 3. Wait an hour and see what happens. High on Life. High on Life is yet another title in which you can't walk a single step without someone making fun of you, in the game or as the player. However, there's only one instance in the game where you get laughed at for trying, and it's a supremely frustrating experience. During the hunt for character Douglas, you enter a theater in which your target plays a training video for new recruits in his organization. In the video, he instructs the recruits to wait 1 full hour to begin a special exercise he's prepared for them. The game makes it immediately clear it does not actually want you to wait and that you should look for an alternate way to infiltrate Douglas's lair. Of course, though, you can choose to prove your great patience and wait for Douglas's test to begin. Except, it never really happens. Although the game teases you with short intermissions from Douglas telling you how much time has passed, waiting the full hour only results in Douglas sarcastically congratulating you, then causing the door to the next exercise to malfunction as it's about to open. Thanks for wasting everyone's time, game. Or did you waste your own time? I'll leave that up to you. Number 2. I completed Vice City and all I got was this lousy t-shirt. Grand Theft Auto Vice City. Completing a game usually awards you with some fun stuff. The practice makes even more sense if you manage to do a full 100% completion. But in Grand Theft Auto Vice City, your genuinely impressive feat is treated like the end of a really disappointing family trip. Anyone who's played GTA Vice City and had to deal with its infamously buggy missions and wonky RC helicopter controls never forget the pain of having to drag that atrocious thing around under a time limit, can attest to how difficult it can be to fully complete the game. You not only have to deal with the challenges the developers planned, but also plenty of unexpected obstacles in the form of glitches and programming errors. It feels like an overwhelming effort to get 100%, but what is your grand reward? A plain t-shirt with poorly cropped text saying, "I completed Vice City and all I got was this lousy t-shirt." Rockstar didn't even bother to make the text fit better on the model. This reward, while obviously being a bit fun and self-aware, is still indeed lousy. Number 1. Stop playing. Binding of Isaac Rebirth. You'd think that video game developers would be glad to know that the player base of a project is extremely passionate and bothers to explore everything they have on offer. Not the team behind The Binding of Isaac, though. They'll simply call you fat and tell you to stop playing. The Binding of Isaac is pretty infamous for how ridiculously complicated it is to fully complete. It's not as simple as beating the game, as in order to see and get everything, you actually have to beat every stage and every boss dozens, if not hundreds of times, all with different choices and actions made across each run. For this reason, even though the game will show a 100% completion after your first run, in order to fully beat Isaac, you have to get the score of infinity. Yeah, literally infinity, at which point the title screen will change to reflect your achievement. How will it change? Well, by showing you a fat version of Isaac every time you boot up the game with a message angrily telling you to stop playing. Charming. Ouch.